new influx of player, do you think that will increase the RP scene by a lot, or?
Yeah, I do. Especially not on Balmung so much, because there's always stuff going on, but I think that Mateus and the other data centers are going to see a lot more new role players coming in.
What would you say, like, if you would have to pick one server per data center, which one would they be? For RPing, I mean.
For Crystal, the obvious answer is Balmung. Primal, I'm not sure, actually. I think Fairy is where people are role-playing a lot of the time. Ether, I think Ether just kind of has them all scattered out. Am I forgetting one?
Ether, Balmung. No, Ether. I think there's one more. Data center, NA, FF14. No, there's only 3. Crystal, Nature, Primal.
For some reason, I thought there were 4.
Yeah, no. There was a 4th one too for a second.
No, even Japan only has 3 data center. And I'm surprised. Balmung is open for new character. People that want to start RPing, this is the time to create a character.
Oh, yeah, do it right now. This happens once every blue moon.
Oh god, yeah, I waited so... When I wanted to get on Balmung really badly, because, you know, Sam's on Balmung, and he was the one who got me interested in coming back into 14. And multiple days I was checking.
Yeah, it was bad. I told one of my friends that he needs to do it between, like, 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. on a weeknight. But this was before, like, on a weekday, but this was before the pandemic. Now it's impossible.
This was this year that I got into Belmont. And I did get in. And funnily enough, it was at like 7 p.m. or something like that. I don't
Wow.
remember. Yeah, like it wasn't at the time you'd expect. And then it closed like the next hour.
Yeah, no, it go up and down all the time.
I remember when Balmung was so congested that it was closed off for like, I think at least a year and a half. And we had no new players.
And people were paying for the transfer just to get on Balmung.
Yeah.
Because that's a way like to kind of get around the system. Is you will reserve a place on the server that way. So yeah, but yeah, if we want to start RPing on Crystal, Balmung is open as we speak right now. So go.
Yeah. But now that there's world visiting, there's actually like quite a few roleplay communities all over now. Curl has a lot of roleplay venues. Curl and Goblin.
Yeah, Goblin is not a really popular server as well, so it's easy to get on.
Yeah, and Goblin has a great community.
It's such like a small community that most people know each other on that server. Mm-hmm. Well, people that do stuff together like know each other there. Don't know how I can phrase it. Okay, so you're talking about like different type of RP, like venue and stuff like that. So there is different type of role player as well in the game. How would you describe some of the group there?
Alright, so there are lots. Obviously we have the horny roleplay, which is, very popular. There's like a whole Red Lake district. There are entire FCs dedicated to that, and brothels. I had a friend who used to be in a brothel FC. Her character ended up getting trained in combat and left.
Kind of want to be a fly on the wall on those. Like, I don't want to join those FC, but I just want to see the kind of conversation something that's going on there.
Yeah, I know that my friend was it was one of her clients that actually got her connections to doing other kinds of roleplay, and she ended up leaving to join that person's FC. I thought that was really neat. So that character went from doing sex work to being a full-fledged shield maiden.
For development.
And she kept it in her lore. I thought it was great.
I mean,
Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, that's character development in a sense. So
Yeah, I thought that was a really funny way she got more into the adventuring side of things. Then you have the adventurer role players. One of the things that we struggled with while we were running the newspaper was getting like news that wasn't basically the entertainment section. And that was because a lot of people who do like adventuring style roleplay tend to keep it within their FCs. So if you're looking for like adventures and stuff, it's best to look for a community like a Link Shell or an FC that will do it. There are a lot of Discord servers that are dedicated to like the entire data center, and a lot of communities will advertise that on there. I kind of feel like this kind of goes into slice of life a bit too, but there's also like Magitech style roleplay for like the people who like to invent things. If you're into like the ironworks and stuff like that. Though I will note, there are lots of different kinds of technology in Final Fantasy, and I want to see more clockwork roleplayers. I think clockwork is really neat.
kind of like a steampunk, or
Yeah, like Machinist is super invested in clockwork and ether. But there's even like Hingashi has clockwork puppets. I don't see a lot of people exploring that. I think that would be a really fun thing to make things up for. There's on the slice of life, there's like literally just living like a normal person. You have kind of like ours, which has a kind of a bit of everything. Info brokers, I would consider slice of life because that's more of a business thing. There is business roleplay too. Black market stuff if you're into criminal. There's lots of criminal organizations. There's like Yakuza FCs and gang FCs and black market events. And there are a few people who run those. You can find those on Discord servers too. God, there are so many. I've mentioned ERP adventuring, slice of life. Also in slice of life is entertainment. If you really want to make your character an actor or something, that's totally an avenue you can take. I mean, like even there's Flamin, Minfilia's mom. She's a singer. You can do that in roleplay. People are totally down for that. I know a character who was an artist, and she didn't do a lot of combat roleplay. Restaurants. And those are also nice places to go. Like, our characters do happy hour because we are office workers. So, my character will take them out to bars. You could also run a shop if you wanted. I've seen that. I really like those. I get a lot of my in-character books from shops. And then you have, as far as adventuring goes too, there's different kinds. Like for us, we do a very specific kind of adventuring where we hire adventurers to look for these items for us and go into the more dangerous parts of the world to get the stuff that we need to sell off. And we have, a bunch of different departments. And a lot of FCs do. There's also like noble roleplay for like Ishgardian nobles or even like Ul'dah. I haven't seen a lot of Ul'dah nobility explored, which I think would be a really neat concept. There are entrepreneurs. There are so many different kinds of roleplayers. There are also military FCs. Those were really big in Stormblood. I know that there was a whole resistance movement for Alamigo and Doma. And then there is tribal roleplay, especially for Mikote and Zayla. Those are really interesting. There's a huge Zayla roleplay community, especially on Balmung. There's a whole giant Discord server dedicated to it. and then you can like interact with people from the tribe you chose for your character, or even make up new ones. And they have events every so often. I know that they do like fighting tournaments and stuff. I'm actually in a group for tribal roleplay for Shio because she's not very tribal because she's from Charlian. But the group that I'm in does a lot of like Celtic kind of style tribal roleplay. It's really interesting. I think that covers most of the big type.
Also, one thing I realized, you talked about a lot of the those have Discord and stuff like that. Where will be the best place for people, someone that will want to find those Discord?
So, honestly, I found a lot of mine through link shells. I can put links in the Discord server, and you can share them
Yeah, sure thing.
if you want. Like, give me 1 second and I'll pull those up. There's 2 big ones. I'm only in a couple of them. I know that I have just kind of dug around on the internet to find a few. Like there's one that I gave to a friend that does like bounty hunter stuff. But I can give the 2 big ones, and then that's how I found the other Discord servers too, because they would advertise in these like data center wide.
Also, another thing, like you mentioned like your character is for Shalian. How do you think Endwalker is going to affect the future for RPing?
I think that it opens up a lot, honestly. I think that the final days are going to be a big deal to a lot of characters, and I would be shocked if most people who are role playing don't have some sort of reaction to that, because that's going to be a big deal. I think that opening Charlian is like politically a big deal in lore because they have been cut off for 25 years. And I'm really looking forward to it. My character's a criminal, so she's getting arrested.
Also, with like the end of this coming, do you think there's going to be a big surge of like doomsday cult and stuff like that going on? Or?
I really hope so, honestly. When I used to roleplay in WoW, we did a lot of build-up roleplay for Cataclysm, which was the big world-ending expansion. The shamans were going crazy because all the elements were like, oh my god, the world is ending, that sort of thing. So I really hope we see a lot of like doomsday type roleplay. I think that would be really cool. I'm wondering if it'll be anything like 1.0 where some of that got written into the actual game's lore. I doubt that'll happen this time because it's not as widespread. But like, I remember people would sit on mounts outside of cities when enemies were spawning inside of them, and they would be like basically pretending to guard those places, and that became actual lore for the game.
Like, yeah, no, I remember seeing, like, I was not there for 1.0, but I saw a couple of videos, and
yeah,
was quite impressed to see a lot of things. And the fact that they incorporate that into the lore means a lot for like those players as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can say, I was there, I was doing that, I was one like of the guard, I guess, like they could say, and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It became canon.
It did. The people had Gubu mounts, and they just sat in front of Ul'dah, so they wrote that into the game's lore because literally everybody was doing it. I thought that was so cool.
Like, yeah, that's like one of the many small details that FF14 love to incorporate into stuff.
Yeah.